Welcome to People Want to Know, an immigration segment where we take your social media questions and attorney Jessica Dominguez answers them. Thank you so much for joining us. It is an absolute pleasure for you to help us with these questions that people ask and for you to give us your advice.
Thank you, Hijo. I'm very glad to be here with you every week, and thank you for all our following and for the trust that they place in us, because they continue to write to us, and this just shows us that it's important for us to continue. So thank you.
Thank you. As many of you know, an immigration reform bill was introduced by the Gang of Eight, a bipartisan bill that covers basically what we've been trying to accomplish for so many years, which is a comprehensive immigration reform bill. This week we received a question from Angel. He writes to us on Facebook, and his question is, when will immigration reform be approved and what will be the requirements?
JP, it is impossible to know when this bill would actually become a law. It is also impossible to know what the requirements are going to be. Why? Because before a bill can become a law, many steps need to be taken. And as we go through those steps, many changes can take place. So what I'm asking our community to do is I'm asking them to be patient and to wait for us to actually get a law with the requirements, and in that way we can share that information with them. But what we can do today is we can give them the steps of how a bill for a comprehensive immigration reform could become a law.
Well, thank you for that information. I think it's very important that we all are really informed about this political process that this comprehensive immigration reform bill is about to go through. So without further ado, Attorney Jessica Dominguez, what's step number one?
Well, JP, we have prepared an infographic to give a visual to our community as to the steps that are going to be taken. First step is that the bill was already submitted to the Senate.
Great. So step number one has already been accomplished. Let's go to step number two. Right now, the bill is in the Senate Judicial Committee and is being analyzed, debated, and about to go into markup where they will discuss possible amendments.
Yes, the third step will be that the Senate has to vote.
Step number four, the bill has to be submitted to the House if it passes in the Senate.
Step number five, once again, the bill has to be analyzed, debated, and possible amendments must be discussed in the House.
Great. After that is all said and done, we move on to step number six. It's where the House votes, and then it has the potential to get a little bit tricky, which goes right into step number seven. The House can send it straight to the President to be signed or vetoed, or if amendments are made, it is referred back to the Senate for another vote. This is where it becomes sort of like a game of ping pong, and things just keep going back and forth. But to resolve that, if the Senate disagrees with amendments by the House, the Senate calls a conference committee action in which both sides debate, analyze, and try to come to an agreement over the bill. Last step. Attorney Jessica Dominguez, please share.
Step number 8. If both sides vote in favor of the bill, and only if the bill receives the adequate support, it is then sent to the President to be signed or vetoed.
In this case, President Obama has already said that he's more than willing to sign a piece of legislation that supports the sanctity of families.
Yes, and that it gives a path to citizenship to millions of families out there who don't have a legal status at this point. And also, we must remember that President Obama has the power to sign this bill into law or to veto it.
Great. That is why we have to do our part and make sure that we are calling our representatives, making sure that we're signing petitions, sending emails. If you haven't watched the video yet, make sure to check it out, where we share 2 campaigns that are going on nationally right now, where you can get updates, information, when to call, and all the great, beautiful ways that we can all get involved as a community.
Absolutely.
And that's just a simple step that we can do, right?
Yes, that's a simple step that all of us can participate in.
Well, great. Thank you for going through those steps that we need to make sure that not only we fully understand, but once we understand them, take action so that we can make sure that this comprehensive immigration reform bill does not get stalled at all. Thank you for joining us on People Want to Know. Thank you, Attorney Jessica Dominguez, for going over the steps to understand this legislative process a little bit more.
My pleasure, Hijo. I'm glad to be here with you every week.
Join us next week on People Want to Know. Keep sending us your questions, keep liking the videos and sharing them. We are so happy to be doing this, and we will see you next week.